welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of April 6th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Steven Dominguez, and with me tonight, two people that love that chicken jockey.
I'm Benjamin Daniel Ellis, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Devon Kraft. I also don't know what you're talking about.
Excellent. That's exactly how things should be. Apparently, it looks like we're going to be talking about Minecraft, but the Minecraft movie has a scene with a chicken jockey, which is a little chicken with a baby zombie on it. And for whatever reason, the kids have decided to explode in the theaters when this happens and just yell and run around and create giant messes. It's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's what the kids are doing. Who knows?
That was not my experience, but...
Okay. It could be an isolated incident that my algorithm has decided to give me over and over again to make it not seem like an isolated incident.
Maybe we're just not cool enough to know about those kind of things here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean if that happened in Texas, everyone would get shot. I mean that's just by love arrows.
Jeez.
Are people getting shot again?
Too soon. No, I don't think. I don't.
Just too soon in general because America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not just America, but like, just Texas theaters and shootings. Like, that's a thing.
Is that a thing?
And wasn't that where the Batman shooting happened?
Oh, was it?
It
was that a
might have been.
Oh, well. Yeah, don't do
Aurora. Where's Aurora? Colorado.
Oh, that was Colorado. Okay. All right. Well,
I mean, still.
Let's keep
not
guns out of the theater.
The problem is, I'm sure you could look up. There's probably been a shooting in a theater somewhere in almost every state.
I mean, there was one really famous one with Lincoln, and after that, it all just goes downhill. Really.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go.
All right. So that's us. So good night, everyone. How do we come back from that? Let's keep talking about. No, we're gonna keep talking about theaters. Here's what's going on. Sure. I just really quickly. I saw Disney's Snow White this weekend with the kids and my wife. Huh? Did you say why?
Why?
Because children. That's why they had a choice between Disney's Snow White and the Minecraft movie, because those are only two kids movies out that they could see. And our 6-year-old was like, I don't want to see Minecraft. And I was like, that makes sense. You don't really know anything about it. And the 10-year-old, she kind of knows about it, but not enough. But they both wanted to see Snow White, which they also have not seen the original. So there's no logic in this house anymore. Don't see that movie. It's real bad. It's not like, so the thing, because I don't remember, I'm sure I've seen the original Snow White at some point in my life. Perhaps I haven't. But the story, not great. The dwarves, horrifying. Oh, they look weird, man. They look so weird. And then the movie ends, and that's all I can remember because it was so bad. Actually, Martine was like, "Yeah, the original Snow White, it actually moved. Like they did all the things from the original movie. It's just that then they added a bunch because not much happens plot wise in the original movie. It's like it's she said it's really slow and boring." Because it's their first animated feature, and they were just like, look what we did. And no one had ever seen it before, and that's amazing, but that's not going to cut it these days. So past that one, it's not worth anything. I mean, but
how was Gal Gadot?
Oh, terrible. But actually, Martine was like, the actress they got for the evil queen, she was real bad. I was like, oh yeah, Wonder Woman. She was like, that's where I've seen her before. I was like, yeah, she's a good person, but I don't know about a great actress. I don't. Yeah, it's real bad. Like it was one of those things where if she had hammed it up at like 20% more, it would have hit the mark. Or if she had been more serious by about 20%, that would have been fine too. But it was this weird middle ground that it just seemed like bad acting. I'm sure it was bad directing because it's all green screens.
She's not really known as being a good actress.
No, but she can. But this was the first time I've seen her where I've just been like, "Oh, this is bad." Like, I've seen her in the Fast and Furious movies, Wonder Woman. Like, she can be a person. That's fine. But when she's like something fantastical, it gets a little iffy.
Well, in roles like that, certainly in fantasy and especially with villains, I mean, you've got to be a really good actor. Like, that's where you get to like chew the scenery, but you've got to like have the ability to pull that off.
Yeah, and she didn't. Also, lots of songs that were not very memorable. So there's that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you've been seeing a lot of those. I mean, you had that same critique of Moana 2.
Moana 2 was way better than Disney's Snow White. And yeah, Moana 2 is just fine. I mean, compared to the first one, not great, but as a movie, it was fine. Anyways, this is not a podcast. This is not a Disney movie review podcast. So someone else talk now.
Well, it is a kids movie review podcast. So I saw Minecraft yesterday.
Okay, tell me about it.
It was okay. Jen
Cool.
was like, I need the kids out of the house. Like, she was just tired of them.
It
was raining here. And we've gone a lot to like the indoor play places. So I was like, well, we haven't been to a movie in a long time. So I looked up what movies were showing. And like you said, the only kids movies were Minecraft and Snow White. Mm-hmm. And my kids, they haven't played Minecraft. They've heard a lot about it from their cousins, and they've seen like clips of it on TV. So they have some idea what it is.
Clips of the movie or clips of the game?
The game.
Okay.
So they have some idea what it is,
mm-hmm.
and you know, it was okay. I didn't think it was that great. I thought from the previews it looked kind of wacky, and so I'm like, well, maybe this will be good in like a different way. And it certainly tried to be different than just your typical movie, you know, kids movie you would expect from a IP like that. So it had some like offbeat humor, which, you know, only some of it landed. Of course, it's directed by the guy who did Napoleon Dynamite, and I actually wasn't a big fan of Napoleon Dynamite, so.
Oh, so you're not the target audience.
Yeah. But so it's funny because like it starts off with a lot of narrative from Jack Black about the world of Minecraft. And then it goes to what you'd expect, where it develops the human characters, not in the Minecraft world.
Okay.
And my kids were really bored during that. And Nolan was like, when are they going to get back to Minecraft? And Elliot was like, just like, bouncing around. I was like, oh man, they better get back to the Minecraft world.
we're all screwed.
It's only like 15 minutes, you know, where they're not in the Minecraft world, and then they get there. And of course, I'm like, well, once they're in the Minecraft world, it's really, to me, it was way more boring because it's just like, okay, typical quest type movie, got to find the thing. Every 10 to 15 minutes, the bad guys show up for a battle, and then, you know, all the plot or all the character development is all just total, you know, stock, just what you'd expect. So, you know, it's okay for what it is. I didn't hate it, but I wouldn't ever want to watch it again.
Joke's on you. Your kids are going to get that somehow and watch it on loop all summer long. That's going to be the summer of Minecraft in your house.
Best summer ever.
And I'm sure this is not the last I've heard of Disney's Snow White.
Well,
there were some jokes that were pretty funny. I mean, it was nice that they tried to be different, and so there were some parts I was like, yeah, that's clever and funny. But
well, if you're looking for a relatively decent but not earth-shattering, kids movie, maybe consider The Day the Earth Blew Up, which is the Looney Tunes movie that came out in 2024. We watched it over the course of the last couple nights, and
that was playing at the theaters here. That was one of the movies I was like, we could see that, but I'm like, I don't know what the heck that is.
It's okay. So, I would give it a solid 7.5. Mostly because it is a perfect way of being like a new Looney Tunes movie, like just Looney Tunes. It's not, there's no live action
No
in it,
basketball?
no
But
basketball.
Looney Tunes is
nothing
known
that,
for their basketball.
right. Yeah. Nothing that's like, oh, hey, here's something else that'll bring people in that aren't into Looney Tunes. No, if you like Looney Tunes, you're going to really enjoy this film. And it's an incredibly well animated film. It has such incredible gags. And then on top of that, I mean, the day the Earth blew up, it's a big send up on 50s B movie sci-fi.
Right.
Like,
the day the Earth stood still.
Yeah, exactly. But like all the stuff, that entire like when you're watching The Iron Giant at the beginning and they show like that classic 50s B movie playing, like this is a send up on that type of movie. So I say it's a 7.5 because that's really not like that's a very specific group of people that would be into both Looney Tunes and this, but it hits pretty well. And I also say it's a 7.5 because it's not like a there are times when the film is slower paced than I think than I would have it be.
Okay.
But the gags are great. The animation is incredible. To see a modern animated film that's not like a 3D CGI fest.
Yeah.
To have a film that has a couple of really interesting twists in it. And then also to have incredible voice acting. Peter McNichol plays the invader. You might remember him as Janos from Ghostbusters 2.
Okay. Wow. My brain just flipped through the Rolodex until I figured out who you were talking about. And I know. Okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Fred Tatasciore, is that how you say his name? He plays the scientist in the film. And he also was Shax, Lieutenant Shax on Lower Decks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the same guy, Eric Bauza, plays both Daffy Duck and Porky Pig in the film, but does such an incredible job.
Are there more? How many of the Looney Tunes are there in this movie? Is it all of them, or is it those two?
It's Porky Pig and Daffy Duck and Petunia Pig.
And that's it.
The what?
Petunia Pig. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's got to be a lady version of everything. Okay.
Well.
What is that? Is that one of the jokes in the movie?
No,
that's funny. I thought during the Minecraft movie, I'm like, there's the kid, because there's got to be a kid in the movie, although he's kind of like a teenager, but he is a standard like white boy. I'm like, wow, that's weird.
What was it like?
I'm like, they're finally like, we just want to make money. We don't care about anything else. We're just gonna.
Oh boy.
Well,
I'm glad you could really connect with the character, Devon.
Anyhow, I recommend The Day the Earth Blew Up, and I hope everybody that is into what it is I said about it, like if you like classic Looney Tunes, this is a very well constructed, like modern Looney Tunes. And it feels like a movie that would have been made if Looney Tunes were super popular already, and it was just like, hey, slam dunk, we're gonna make a film and we're gonna just make it to be a good movie, rather than like shoving in like, oh hey, remember Space Jam? Here's another one, you know. So like it's refreshing. I guess, okay, so like the pacing is an interesting thing. I know I mentioned it before that it wasn't quite what I was looking for, mostly because I'm comparing it to like recent slapstick films such as Hundreds of Beavers. Mm-hmm. Now, Hundreds of Beavers, that's a film that's an hour and a half long but feels like 30 minutes. This is an hour and a half long film that feels like it's an hour and a half long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this whole conversation here that people have to sit through before they get to the science, all that's really telling me, what this is really giving, as how the kids are saying now, that Minecraft should have stayed a video game, Snow White should have stayed in the 30s, and maybe the Looney Tunes were better when they were only 8 to 10 minutes long.
Now, as the kids say these days, trust. If you like Looney Tunes, watch this film.
All right, bet.
It's delightful. It's delightful. But it's a 7.5. It doesn't have mainstream appeal, is what I'm saying. Like, it's not going to change your life. But it's a real, like, if you enjoyed Looney Tunes growing up and you like the idea of 50s B plot and you're like, oh hey, I'm willing to be just taken away by all these visual gags. Mm-hmm. Like, let's go. It's great. Long live 2D animation.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, this is a podcast about science and science fiction. Let's get to the science and science fiction. What do you guys think? Let's do that.
Sure.
So we now have a segment called Future or Now.
Now.
Ben, is it future or is it now?
This would be now. And in fact, this is kind of coming back to a topic that we had covered a long time ago. I can't recall which episode it was, but a hat tip to our correspondent from across the field, Matt. He sent me an article from Electrek. The U.S.'s first solar panels over canals pilot is now online.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from an article dated April 3rd, 2025, Project Nexus is a $20 million pilot in Central California's Turlock Irrigation District that was launched in October 2022. And their entire deal is, let's put solar panel canopies over irrigation canals.
Why?
Well, so a bunch of different reasons. Okay. Right. So California, we've gone through our fair share of droughts.
Yep.
And the heat, from the sun blazing down onto, evaporation, that's a problem on these canals that are going to a bunch of different agricultural projects. Mm-hmm. So that's like the number one thing. Like, let's block the sun, but let's also use those sun rays for power. Mm-hmm. On top of that, though, Project Nexus is going to explore whether the solar panels reduce. So you got water evaporation getting reduced, as well as some wind mitigation, trying to see if they can create improvements to water quality through reduced vegetative growth. So like the sun, as it hits the bottom of the canals, oftentimes there's some algae and other growth that happens from other vegetables, vegetative growth. Mm-hmm. And so, and then on top of that, reduce canal maintenance, because they don't need to clean up all that growth. Yeah. And then, of course, generate renewable electricity.
I mean, there's one other bit that maybe it's mentioned in this article, but when companies put down, not necessarily companies, whatever organization it is, puts mm-hmm. solar panels down on land, they have to make sure that the areas they're covering are not damaging that land further.
Right.
So, like, you have to be careful if there's any kind of species that are native to that area, or like you would disturb kangaroo rats. That was like a big one in a project for the company that I worked with years ago. We're doing this giant solar farm, and there was a species of kangaroo rat that we had to be careful of, because the kit foxes in the area ate the kangaroo rats, and like they were the ones that were endangered. It was like a whole thing where we had to like design around some burrows or something. But if you're putting them over these canals that are already existing, you don't have to worry about what's under them, because it's a canal that should be there. It's not going to disturb anything else.
Yeah, the disruption has already happened.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And and so like what's also nice is that this isn't just, since this is a pilot, this isn't just, oh hey, we did this thing, let's pat ourselves on the back and then we're done. The the idea here is that the University of California, Merced has positioned research equipment at both of the sites where solar panels have been installed to collect baseline data, so researchers can decide where solar will work and where it won't. So,
Awesome.
yeah, this is super rad. Glad that it's actually happening. It's close to us. You know, I've driven through Turlock, and
we all have.
And you know, it's so and also, I mean, like, the Turlock Irrigation District supposedly was the first irrigation district formed in California back in 1887, and it provides irrigation water to 4,700 growers who farm around 150,000 acres in the San Joaquin Valley. So this could have a real tangible benefit for not just Turlock, but also for everybody that enjoys all of the agriculture that comes out of that region.
Yeah. Like, you know, the food everyone's eating.
Yep. which is a lot of people.
Yep.
So
it's a lot.
More on this as it develops, my friends.
I hope it develops more. I like that it's called a pilot, and I hope they get picked up for their first season and they get renewed for a second. You know?
Yeah, let's just keep on going. Maybe it'll be like The Simpsons. I don't know.
Oh, nothing's like The Simpsons, man. I mean, come on.
These got renewed for 4 more seasons.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
who's still watching?
Fox renewed The Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, and they're bringing back American Dad for 4 seasons. And by bringing him back, I mean they're bringing him back to Fox because they've been on TBS, I think, for the last 10, 15 years.
Oh wow. I had no idea. Okay.
I listened to a podcast with 2 of the people who used to work for Cracked.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of them ended up being a writer for American Dad, and the other one's a writer for John Oliver. So they talk about their jobs, and so that's why I didn't know American Dad was still on until he said he was a writer for American Dad. And I was like, that's still on?
Like all of those shows I haven't seen in 10 plus years. So someone's watching them, I guess.
Yeah, well, like I think I mentioned a little while ago, I caught up on Family Guy. I just binged like 10 seasons or 15 seasons of Family Guy.
Oh, that's why you haven't
been
funny
working,
lately.
So kind of half paid attention, but it's still pretty funny.
Okay, right on. I mean, that preview for the next season of South Park looked pretty on point. I sent that to you guys a while back.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It doesn't come out until like July, though.
Yeah, well,
which is interesting,
now and then.
Which means that they produced the season beforehand, which I don't know if they've been doing that more lately, because it used to be they would do each episode like a week before it was going to air.
That schedule just seems so insane. I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, all the little the bits, the gags that were in that little trailer, all seem like they could be from the same episode. So like maybe they have like their first episode's kind of like a recap of what's been happening, and then from that point forward they'll just go week by week because the news is there. Like there's things to talk about every week. It's insane. So yeah. Anyways, all right. I'm gonna go. This for mine. This is also a now. There's nothing futuristic about this episode, and I'm gonna call this one ba 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 because so this comes from you'll see why in a second. This article comes from Science Daily. It was published on April 3rd, and the title is "Western Diet Causes Inflammation. Traditional African Food Protects."
Nice.
All right. So this is really interesting because this is a study that was done about the traditional West African diet, changing from that to a Western diet, which is America. So the little summary here: a switch of just 2 weeks from a traditional African diet to a Western diet causes inflammation, reduces the immune response to pathogens, and activates processes associated with lifestyle diseases. Conversely, an African diet rich in vegetables, fiber, and fermented foods have positive effects. This study highlights the significant impact of diet on the immune system and metabolism. Yeah, so I'm going to skip down to the this article isn't very long anyway, but I'm just going to talk about the study. So 77 healthy men from Tanzania. Tanzania.
Yes.
What did I say?
Tanzania.
Yeah.
Remember that show Tasmania? Remember when Looney Tunes were popular? That was a lot of years
ago. Two different countries.
My friend. Well, and one fictional. No. It's fictional in the cartoon. Anyways, 77 healthy men from Tanzania, both urban and rural residents, participated in the study. So right off the bat, only 77 people. That's a red flag. We need a bigger study. Bigger sample size. Some participants who traditionally ate African diet switched to a Western diet for 2 weeks, while others who ate a Western diet adopted a traditional African diet. A third group consumed a fermented banana drink daily. They weren't even part of the study. They just wanted to drink their drink. No. As a control, 10 participants maintained their usual diet. So, hey, they had a control. The researchers comprehensively analyzed the function of the immune system, blood inflammation markers, and metabolic processes at baseline after the 2-week intervention and again 4 weeks later. And here's what happened. Participants who switched to a Western diet exhibited an increase in inflammatory proteins in their blood alongside activation of a biological processes linked to lifestyle diseases. Their immune cells also responded less effectively to pathogens. Meanwhile, those who switched to a traditional African diet or consumed the fermented drink showed a reduction in inflammatory markers. Some of these effects persisted even 4 weeks later, indicating that short-term dietary changes can have long-lasting effects. Guys, what are we doing in our country?
Short-term gains over long-term health in almost everything.
And I wouldn't say almost. I would say everything. I know what you're saying. The foods. This article, and I didn't go to the study itself, but this one didn't have what the foods exactly were, like the Western foods. They did talk about the African diet. Included plenty of vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains, and fermented foods. But not any more specific than that. And the Western diet typically consists of processed and high-calorie foods, such as French fries and white bread, with excessive salt, refined sugars, and saturated fats. If you're eating off-the-shelf food in America, you're not being healthy.
Right. I mean, I know that I've got high cholesterol. I was suggested doing a Mediterranean diet, and so it's nice to know that that's not the only While yes, I happen to think that the Mediterranean diet is pretty delicious, but also I think that the bits of African food I've had, that they've been delicious too, and so yeah.
I don't know if I've had any African food. Devin, have you had any African food?
Yeah, I'm in San Jose at my old job. Well, not my old job, my current job, but we would go
Devin, out. Blink twice if there's a gun to your head.
Yeah. No, I was thinking
my current job.
In San Jose. And that's my old job. But I mean, it's still taking me current job, just very different. Feels very different.
Different context.
We would go for Ethiopian food.
Yeah.
Which I thought I did not like.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, you're a real chicken nuggets kind of guy, so.
Yeah, I'm not very adventurous when it comes to food, so there was some of it that was okay, but no, overall I did not enjoy it.
Okay.
What was it? Just reading from this, vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grain. How is it? Is it the way it was prepared? Because these are things that we eat, or is it just weird?
Yeah, I think it's just the way.
Did you get that spongy
it
bread?
Tasted bitter and kind of sour. I mean, there were some meats that were okay. It came, if I remember correctly, it came kind of family style. Also, it came with a bread you're supposed to eat it with. You kind of rip it off and then use the bread as kind of a way to scoop it. But the bread was very spongy and bitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wonder if our palates can change. And I know that there was a time when I was being very careful about what I was eating many years ago and taking a lot of sugars out of my diet. And I would notice that other foods kind of tasted differently. And then once I ate the sugar food again, it was like, wow, explosion of sweetness. But then after a while that, like, you know, things just kind of change and it just kind of tastes normal again. I wonder if that bitterness, like if you were on a, you know, African diet, if that bitterness would slowly go away, because it would be like, oh, because I'm eating differently, that's not actually how this is. It just seems like it's bitter because I'm used to other things. Does that make sense?
Does the bitterness go away, or do you learn to enjoy the bitterness?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a good question.
That is the question. This article also mentions that this is the first study to comprehensively map the health effects of traditional African diet. It does mention that there's been research on like Japanese traditional diets and Mediterranean diets. This is the first one about a traditional African diet. So it's just kind of interesting that no one's ever really looked at that.
Also, I don't know that Ethiopian food would, should be. I'm sure there's a lot of variety in the different foods from the different countries and regions of Africa. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to say that is like the best exemplar of African food. I have no idea. Maybe it is, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. When you say Africa, that's a whole continent. That's not even a country, like even with like the US, like if you went to like what the traditional like thing that's popular in certain states, they would vary wildly. So I'm sure Africa is even more diverse.
Yeah. I'd also like to note, correction from earlier in the episode, Tasmania is neither fake nor a country. It's an island state off the coast of Australia.
Okay.
Wait, it's an island state?
It's an island state of Australia. It is a state of Australia that is also an island.
Oh, okay.
When I said it was fake, I meant like the cartoon version of it was fake because there's Tasmanian devils.
Well, Australia is not a real country or a real place, so it's all fake.
Oh my God,
it's all fake.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So okay.
Why am I on this show?
No, for real though. Like Australia fell off of flat Earth like centuries ago, so it doesn't exist anymore. It's fine.
They were just all convicts anyway.
Yeah.
Does it not exist, or is it full of convicts? What is it?
It used to exist.
That's what they
with
want
convicts, and now it doesn't exist, except Bluey's.
Oh man!
But Bluey's it's not even Australian. It's a German show.
What?
See, you white guys on podcasts can say anything. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't. Nothing matters.
I'm just trying
even though Australia doesn't exist and is full of convicts and fell off the flat Earth, we should still have tariffs on them.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my God!
Them. Are you kidding me? We'll make so much money.
All right, we had to
y'all are nuts.
What was that, Devon?
We have to do our ads for our supplements.
Okay. Each food.
And get it from Africa.
Get it from Africa.
And be healthy.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to take ourselves a little break now. And when we come back, we're going to reset. We're going to plug Ben back in so we can recharge. And we're going to get to our book club. We read, I have not checked with my co-host, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say we've all read Johnny Mnemonic by William Gibson, the short story that is included in Burning Chrome. Also, a movie starring Keanu Reeves that we're not going to talk about. We might, I don't know. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, let's do a quick poll. Who here thinks our listeners should support us on Patreon?
Affirmativo.
There you have it, a 100% unanimous vote. Supporting our Patreon means exclusive content, unfiltered episodes, and access to our Discord.
Plus, it's scientifically proven to make you cooler, plain not evaluated by any actual scientists.
The evidence is anecdotal, but compelling.
So go to patreon.com/sciencefactionpodcast and make the best decision of your life. Or don't, but just know we're all judging you.
I'm judging you the hardest.
And we're back.
Heyo.
Hello.
Hey.
And a big thank you to our patrons. That's Josh and Renee. Thank you much.
And the listeners might have heard a new little break noise there. We're recording new stuff because it's been a couple years, and it's time.
Did you add the one I did last week?
Yeah, last yes, that was in last week's episode. Yeah, your PSA for PTA. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that was in there.
Cool.
All right. Let's get on to book club. And of course, first things first, what are we doing next week, Ben?
Oh, next week, we warned you. Boy, we warned you last week. And there is a story called Rock, Paper, Scissors, Love, Death by Carolyn M. Joachim. We'll have the link to its original publication in lightspeedmagazine.com. It's free read. Or you can also listen to Will Wheaton read it as in his first episode of his podcast, It's Story Time with Will Wheaton. So however you'd like to catch it, this is a story about what if you could move time for those you love.
Okay. Oh boy. That'll be good.
Oh yeah, it's so good, you guys. I hope you like it.
I'm excited. It's I like things like that. That also reminds me of something that I sent you guys a while back. And I'm scrolling through our talks to see if I can find it real quick, and I can't. But essentially,
okay.
it was maybe I just sent it to you, Ben. Hold on, I might have just sent it to you. Because sometimes I just send things to you. It was the thing about what decorating space and decorating time. No?
Sounds familiar, but if art is how we decorate space, music is how we decorate time.
There it is.
And I was like, hold up.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
I found that on some random thing, and I was like, that is really interesting to think about. Because you do, like if you are going to just sit down and enjoy some music, you are decorating your time.
Mm-hmm.
And
man,
that's interesting. All right, well, let's get on to this week's book club. Johnny Mnemonic, William Gibson. Guys, how did you consume the story this week? Devon, you go first.
I listened to the audio on YouTube, which was not great.
Oh,
okay.
Just because I think it sounded like an old recording. So it's probably based on like the original audio book that was done whenever this came out. But it did have the text on the screen with it, which really helps. But I was only able to read that sometimes because I was doing stuff, so I wasn't able to just. It would have been better if I could just sit down and read it along, or if I was reading it, I wouldn't need the audio. But anyway, that's how I consumed it.
Excellent.
I read it on my e-reader, and as I did with the other William Gibson story we read in Burning Chrome.
Oh yeah, Burning Chrome and Burning Chrome.
Yeah,
Burning Chrome.
I burned some Chrome while I was burning Chrome.
Did we already make the joke on your Chromebook?
Dude,
I don't think we did. Go ahead, make the joke.
Oh.
You were reading Burning Chrome and Burning Chrome on your Chromebook.
Yo, dog.
While burning Chrome in your car.
Yo, dog, I heard you liked burning Chrome.
Okay.
While listening to Fuel by Metallica, in which he says, "Burn your face upon the chrome."
Oh,
does he? There was that slow version of it of was it just called Fuel? Is that the name of the song?
Fuel.
Yeah. That was pretty good. It sounds like we didn't enjoy it because we're not talking about it yet, but I really enjoyed the story. we usually like screw around when we're not into the story, but I really enjoyed the story. I listened to it on Audible because that's where I purchased the Burning Chrome audiobook. The publication date for this story was 1981. and then it was republished in Burning Chrome in 1986. So this story is got some age on it.
It was in Omni, so which is a great science fiction periodical of the time.
Omni was a science and science fiction magazine published for domestic American and UK markets. It contained articles on science, parapsychology, and short works of science fiction and fantasy. There you go. Cool.
Yeah.
So, what is Johnny Mnemonic? It's great. I'm gonna give you guys a summary, not you two, but our listeners, both of them. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Renee. You know what? I think Greg listens while he's painting and stuff too. So thanks, Greg. Even though you're not a patron. So Johnny is a data trafficker. He has undergone cybernetic surgery to have data storage system implanted in his head. So he's a smuggler essentially, but for data. So the data goes in his brain. He doesn't know what it is, and it requires like a password spoken to him. And then he goes into this trance and he spits out whatever the data was. And within the story, it made it sound like if it was a software program, like he would just say the lines of code or something. Like for hours, he would just spit out, what the information was. But this story kind of starts in media res, where he's talking about having a shotgun and like hiding it in a bag. Yeah. And it's a whole thing. Johnny,
because he had a contract placed on him by someone that had hired him to store some data.
Exactly. So there's Ralphie Face, and they go to the Drome bar. So Ralphie is overdue to retrieve the hundreds of megabytes of data he has stored in Johnny's head. And Johnny learned that Ralphie placed a contract on him. Johnny finds Ralphie at his usual table. He's got a bodyguard named Lewis. Johnny threatens him with a sawed-off shotgun. Lewis incapacitates him with a neural disruption device under the table, as you do. And then Ralphie says that the data was stolen from the Yakuza, who are very interested in ensuring that it's not revealed, and they had not been aware of the theft when he hired Johnny. It's like this whole, like, you're right in the middle of this crazy thing that's happening.
Right. And who do you trust, right? Like, do you trust that anybody's telling the truth other than Johnny?
They're all bad guys, except for like Johnny. Right. You're in Johnny's head, right? It's first person, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds right. So I mean, what Johnny's saying is true because he's the one, recounting the story to you. But everyone else, who knows? And then comes Molly. So Molly Millions. I don't know if they called her Molly Millions in this one or just Molly.
They did.
They did, yeah.
Okay, cool. She has undergone extensive body modification. She's got razor sharp blades under her fingernails. She joins them at the table just looking for a job.
It just walks up. Yeah.
Just walks up like, hey,
you guys look like you're in the middle of of some weird stuff going on. Like, what's up? And so, the Lewis, the bodyguard, like, tries to go like, hey, get out of here, little girl, and she just basically like slices the part of him off.
Like that whole scene reminded me of like if you're at a diner and two people are having an argument and someone walks up with a gun and says like, who wants to hire me to win this argument? Like just having her on your side and her not doing anything is worth the money. Is like how this whole thing comes across. And also Molly, she's in other William Gibson books. So when I first read this, I already knew who she was and how dangerous she was. I was like, oh, it's Molly. Okay, so let's see. Ralphie offers to pay her. She deactivates the device, frees Johnny, who immediately offers a higher bid to hire her as a bodyguard. They take Ralphie like hostage and they go to leave. And then there's the assassin that's waiting outside. And this is the best part of the Johnny Mnemonic movie. If you guys ever saw it, it's the only part you're going to remember. It's when the dude like pulls his thumb off and there is just like a line of red of this monomolecular wire that he uses to like slice stuff.
Oh, yeah.
My memory of that happening in the movie was like, that was awesome. I don't know if it actually was, but that's what my memory tells me. So I should not go back and watch it.
All my memories of this movie are of the movie virtuosity. Because that's what I thought this was.
Nope.
I'm not sure if I've ever seen Johnny Mnemonic, the movie.
I remember the monomolecular wire, and I remember the dolphin, and we're gonna get to the dolphin in a second because, wow. So anyways, Molly is excited because she gets to like fight another professional. So let's see, Ralphie's killed, but they still have to get the data out of Johnny's head, and they need something to do that. Something called a squid, which, let's see, very sensitive magnetometer used to measure extremely weak magnetic fields based on superconducting loops containing Josephson junctions. Okay. It's some high-tech thing. And the only people that have it are like the military. And so Molly takes him to an old amusement park to meet Jones, who is a cybernetically enhanced dolphin retired from Navy service.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of wacky sci-fi that I love. Because it makes sense. Jones's previous assignment was to locate and hack into enemy minds using the squid and other sensors implanted in his skull. But now he's addicted to heroin because the Navy kept them hooked on heroin so that they would keep doing their job. If that's not American as apple pie.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they pay him in heroin. Johnny then has Molly read it out so he can enter his retrieval trance. Recorders capture all the data. They upload a snippet to a Yakuza communication satellite and threaten to release the rest unless Johnny is left alone. And then there's like, you know what? Let's have a crazy fight. So the last thing that happens, this Yakuza assassin is still following them. Molly leads Johnny to the Low-Techs, a group of anti-technology outcasts who live in suspended hideout near the top of the geodesic domes covering the sprawl. And the sprawl is just like giant city, like think Coruscant, right? But it's not that big. At Molly's request, the Low-Techs allow the assassin to climb up so she can face him on the, quote, killing floor. A sprung floor arena wired to synthesizers and amplifiers. This is the most 80s thing I've heard. Molly dances around the assassin, causing discordant noise to blare from the sound system, and tricks him into slicing off his own hand with his thumb wire. Overwhelmed by the noise and strange environment, he jumps through a hole in the floor and falls to his death. It's crazy. The story closes nearly a year later with Johnny now living among the Low-Techs. He and Molly have gone into business for themselves using Jones's squid to retrieve traces of all data he has ever carried and blackmailing former clients with it. So not a good guy in the end.
No, definitely not. Well, I mean, depends on if the clients were good or not. But also,
I assumed all the clients were criminals, so
yeah,
it's all bad stuff anyway.
Yeah. So then let's see, later mentioned. So this is interesting. I didn't really notice this connection before. In Gibson's 1984 novel Neuromancer, which is like, I'm waiting for the real movie of this thing to come out. I think Denis Villeneuve was attached to it at one point. I don't know if he still is. He's the guy that recently did the Dune movies. There was a point where he was attached to do Neuromancer. But anyways, that's the first of the Sprawl trilogy. Molly relates the rest of Johnny's story to the protagonist, Case. So Case is the protagonist of Neuromancer, and he gets involved with Molly. Molly claims that after achieving success, Johnny was murdered by a vat-grown Yakuza ninja. So in the end, sorry, Johnny, you were murdered, just like everyone else. All right. So pretty short story, pretty self-contained. The world is a world that we've been in before. It's the same as from Burning Chrome. It's that same sprawl thing. And if you've read Neuromancer, it's all this stuff really kind of jives with each other. If that makes sense. Like you can tell you're in the same place, the same world, the way that everything's constructed. What did you guys think of it?
I liked it. Though I was very much interested in getting back to my cozy punk of reading because I'm currently making my way through Becky Chambers' The Galaxy in the Ground Within. But
this is not thematically, tonally, this is like a complete opposite of Becky Chambers.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, like this is great, very well written. It is always interesting how cool William Gibson's language is, and how he blends words you're familiar with enough context so that the slang that he's invented like really shines off the page.
And even some of that slang is now like our common terminology for these sci-fi things.
True.
Like
his
stuff is so popular. Like just the term cyberpunk, he came up with that. Like, and that's all of this.
Yeah.
And if you look at, like, if you played any of Cyberpunk 2077, it just, that and William Gibson's like stuff, it's the same. It's like, if you want to see this stuff that they're talking about, play that game and you'll see all of this nonsense. It's crazy.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, and I liked. I found it was really interesting, the low techs and how they live in darkness, and how the first low tech that you come across is like a dog. You know, like he got all his teeth removed and replaced with dog teeth, and then and then eventually Johnny has the same thing done to him too.
To like blend in with the low techs, right?
Right.
That's what it's insinuating. Yeah.
Yeah. So like those details were really interesting. I thought that the killing floor was very imaginatively described, and like it had a verve to it, or like it was a really, really strong action scene. Like, yeah, this was very well done. Bravo, William Gibson.
Bravo.
William Carlton Gibson. Bravo.
All right, Devon. Well, what did you think of this whole shenanigans?
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. I'm trying to think. I think I read Neuromancer is the only other thing of William Gibson's I've read, because I didn't read Burning Chrome when we did it.
Right.
I don't think I was even on the episode when you guys talked about it.
Nope.
Yeah, but I like it. He writes really well. I felt the same way with Neuromancer, where I'm like, it's a lot of like flash and no substance, but not necessarily in a bad way. It's just not what I'm looking for in a story. Like, I want something deeper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's hard sci-fi, right? Where it's like, okay, all this stuff is based on like real world things and there's science behind it. And then there's like, this would be more like poetic sci-fi, where like there is a lot of like flowery prose about things and like waxing poetic on like the color of the sky, and it's a different vibe that is not for everyone. I happen to really enjoy it. But I get that, where like what you're looking for in your sci-fi probably isn't this. That's
I'm
fine.
like, it all sounds really cool, and I can imagine the scenes really, he paints a really good picture, but I'm also just like, okay, that's, I don't know, it's not speaking to me. So I think it's really well done. I did enjoy it, but I didn't love it.
That's fine.
But that's not because it was bad, just because me.
I'm curious that if this was adapted to the screen in some sense, depending on how well it was adapted, if it would be much more enjoyed. Because
from what I don't think I've seen the movie. If I had, I don't really remember it, but I read like some differences between the movie. Apparently the movie was much bigger scope. Like, the information he had in his head like would cure this fictional disease that was like destroying the world.
Yeah, in the story, like, they never talk about what that information was, because it's not important to the story. It's just that he has information that some people want, some people don't want. Doesn't matter what it is. But yeah, I remember that. There was also something about photographs. Like, he had like these images like instead of a password, to like look at these images or something. I don't know. From what I really quickly saw, was that there's some pretty massive differences between the movie adaptation of this and the short story.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm looking forward to is if they do Neuromancer and like include things like this in it, which you totally could. Denis Villeneuve, like, because he did Blade Runner 2049, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that is again a world like this where you've got this. It's high tech, low life, right? Like that's it. Except for this has more like flashy, cool when it comes to like the assassins. Like Molly is got to be like the coolest person on the screen all the time because that's just how she is. She's got style. She's got flash. She's got, and that's kind of like in the Cyberpunk 2077 video game. Like you want to be one of those people. Like that's your popularity is to be these cool people. Anyways, I thoroughly enjoyed this story. It makes me want to go back and reread Neuromancer because it's been so long, and take my time with it really, because I have a feeling the first time I read it, I rushed through it because I remember not understanding a lot of it for some reason, but just like enjoying the prose, but not really comprehending what was going on. I don't know, man. That's just me.
Yeah.
All right. Gee, it hasn't even been an hour, guys.
Yeah, good. It's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
It has for us because we recorded a pretty significant amount of stuff for the mid pod.
Yeah. Even the
So
pre-pod.
if you're interested, boy, like we took off the mask there, man.
And we do sometimes. So yeah, like we had said before, patreon.com/Science Faction Podcast. You'll get the unedited episodes. We always talk before our mid-pod break and afterwards. Sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. Depends on the week. Right now, it's Sunday night, and it's late, so there's probably not going to be a whole lot in the post-pod. But some days we go off for a while. Yeah, it's been a weekend. It's been a week. It's been a month. It's been a year so far. We're all exhausted. All right, guys. Well, let's call it here. And I believe, I think we're good for next week. Things are going to be happening coming up soon. I don't think it'll affect our podcast schedule too much. The Last of Us Season 2 is next week. Oh, guys. Then the week after, I'll be out of town on the 20th. So, yeah, we'll have to figure something out.
Well, I'm going to be out of town the week after next. And next weekend, Jen's sister's wedding is on Saturday, and their family's going to be in town. So Sunday, I'm not sure what's going on.
All right. So there may be some two-offs.
Shenanigans.
There might just be two of us, or the episodes might be delayed. Going to try to keep with our normal schedule, but hey, things happen. We're real people. We'll do our best to get you guys an episode every week. With that, Devon, do you have any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right. Ben, any last words?
Did you know your pupils are the last part to stop working when you die? It's true. They dilate.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFactPodcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.